What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to discuss if Rocksteady is making a Suicide Squad game. Now, okay, for the longest time, I had always assumed / thought that Rocksteady was making a Justice League game, and we've made videos about that on the channel as well. I've talked about why I believe Batman would be in it, why I don't want it to be multiplayer, stuff like that. So we've talked quite a bit about Justice League, and then people started telling me, hey, there's kind of reports and evidence to suggest, I'm not going to get into the evidence, I more or less just want to have a discussion if Suicide Squad is a good idea and how could they do that, or literally how it would actually work. But there is evidence to suggest that Rocksteady could be making a Suicide Squad game, even if Warner Bros. Montreal's game was canceled, which we know that was the case. It is possible that Rocksteady could be making basically the same thing. I don't necessarily know how that works. I don't know why they would have wanted both of them to make, that's ultimately, I think, the biggest problem of, is it a Suicide Squad game? If it is, that means Rocksteady's been working on it ever since Arkham Knight. It also means that for Warner Bros. Montreal, if that game was canceled, why would they have been working on it too at the same time? You could argue, I guess, that maybe Warner Bros. Montreal was working on it directly after Arkham Origins, so 2013, and maybe it was canceled before 2015 when Arkham Knight came out, and then maybe Rocksteady was like, hey, we could do it, and we feel very confident that we'd be able to do it. At the same time, I'm pretty sure all the rumors or leaks of the Warner Bros. Montreal Suicide Squad game is that it was later than 2013. It was more like 2015, 2016. So to be honest with you, that does, in my mind, kind of cloud, and I still am assuming it's a Justice League game, but I do want to go down the rabbit hole. The title is it going to be a Suicide Squad game? I truly don't believe it is a Suicide Squad game, but let's say it is. Let's say they're doing a Suicide Squad game. How could they do it? To be honest with you, it has all the same problems in my mind as a Justice League game. And I guess this is kind of coming a lot from reports that they're going more multiplayer heavy, that it's going to be more of a multiplayer game, which again, you guys have pitched me so many awesome things in the comments from every video, okay? The things that I want in the game, you guys have outdone me and had some awesome suggestions. Things that we don't want in the game, you guys always come up with things that I don't necessarily think of at the time I'm recording the video. You guys have pitched really cool multiplayer ideas of playing with other people. The question is, can these studios do it? Now, we're dealing with Rocksteady now. We're not dealing with Warner Bros. Montreal. For the purposes of this discussion, I'm willing to give them more trust than I would Warner Bros. Montreal. I don't necessarily think they're more I'm not saying those people are insanely more talented, but they've proven themselves, and I think that they've shown that they can handle things, okay? They can handle a lot. And while they have totally made mistakes, if I had to trust a game like this with anybody, I would choose with Rocksteady. I guess in terms of Rocksteady or Warner Bros. Montreal. If I wanted a game like that, like a multiplayer game, I would maybe choose a different studio altogether. But if I had to choose between just the Warner Bros. Studios, I would choose that one. It would still be tough because I'd still think they would want to do it in the same way as they do Justice League, and I still think you'd want to have some sort of story situated with them. I don't necessarily think, obviously it has to be insanely better than Suicide Squad, the movie we got a couple years ago. Maybe the Suicide Squad movie that's coming out is better. Maybe it's just a really fantastic movie. And that's another thing that definitely could get people thinking about it. When Justice League came out, there were a lot of people talking about, well, maybe they're making the Justice League game, and that would obviously coincide with it, and obviously DC wanting to build up, their grouping, just like Marvel wanted to build up theirs. Maybe it would be a good time to have it come out. Now, obviously, it didn't come out. It hasn't I think 2017 would have been too early for it to come out anyway. But you have that kind of situation passed. I don't really feel like, so I'm basically arguing against both. But I'm kind of giving both sides to both of these games. For Justice League, it's been almost 5 years since we've gotten Arkham Knight, and it's been a very, very long time. And I don't know if the time for Justice League has passed, because if you want to kind of tie it in with the movies, they're very much separated now, right? We have the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, which has completely eliminated Jared Leto's. Suicide Squad failed, but now there's the Suicide Squad. You have the Batman in 2021 that's going to re-kick off that. You're still going with Aquaman. You're still going with Jason Momoa. You're still going with Gal Gadot with Wonder Woman. Both of those are totally fine, and I like that. But you're kind of like you're still kind of spread out, and you're still trying to make something out of something that it's not, basically. So how does a game fit into that? Well, you could argue it really doesn't. So I don't know if the time has passed for Justice League game, and then people could probably argue, well, the Suicide Squad movie, if that comes out, I don't know, does that come out in 2020? Either 2020 or 2021. If that comes out, I mean, yeah, that does line up in timing with Rocksteady's game. But again, it's tough because you have to remember, and we've talked about this with other like announcements, other things that like line up perfectly. We talked about like the Harry Potter game lining up with Fantastic Beasts. The problem with that is, well, Fantastic Beasts was supposed to come out in the fall of 2020. Now it got delayed to 2021. So yeah, it would be perfect timing for the Harry Potter game to come out with the Fantastic Beasts movie in 2021, but they wouldn't have known that when they were doing it. They wouldn't have known that the movie was delayed. So like it would just kind of be coincidental if it happened. Same thing here with Rocksteady. They've been making this game for all intents and purposes. We don't know. We have not heard anything that they've canceled games. The games have gone under, stuff like that. So I guess we all have to assume that whatever game they're making, truly it has taken this long. I do think E3 2020 is the year that we get to see their brand new game. It'll be 5 years after Arkham Knight, and the game, I would assume, has to release within a year after that. So 5 to 6 years after Arkham Knight, they have their new game. I mean, that is a long, long time, and we're not used to Rocksteady taking that long. However, it's not unheard of. The Rockstar games, GTAs, Red Deads, even like Cyberpunk and Witcher, games like that, they take 5-6 years. Okay, so it's not completely out there that their next game would take that long. It's just that we're not necessarily used to that happening. But what I'm basically, long story short, what I'm saying is I feel like a lot of people could say, well, it could be a Suicide Squad game to line up with a Suicide Squad movie releasing like that following year or whatever. But I would then tell you, well, yeah, but like they wouldn't have known that was happening back in 2015. They've been working on whatever game they've been working on since like the second half of, maybe they're working on a little bit when Arkham Knight was just about to come out as well. So maybe over 5 years at this point, they've been working on whatever their next game is. They didn't know that the Suicide Squad movie, this new one, Nathan Fillion, like all these things, they didn't know that this was going to happen. Okay, they didn't know that. So they couldn't have planned it out all nice and tidy like you would maybe like expect because it just lines up so well. So I don't know. I think a lot of people have jumped to it based off of the rumors. I think there has been like leaks in terms of like pictures as well. But from as far as I can tell, I think the multiplayer aspect is what has driven people mostly to say it's a Suicide Squad game. I don't know. I really don't know. And then it comes to the problem of the multiplayer. We've talked about this before in videos. I talked about it for the Warner Bros. Montreal game, and I talked about it for Rocksteady's as well. Multiplayer is super tough because if you do multiplayer, is it like 80% multiplayer, 20% single player? Like how does a single player work its way into that? Is it more like Marvel's Avengers? Because to be completely honest with you, I'm recording this like a couple days after that overview trailer came out. I'm very worried about that game. It looked very Destiny-ish, which we knew that it was going to be like that. But then from everything they showed after we heard that, it didn't show that. So we were like, I was personally thinking, oh, okay, it's not as bad as we all heard. Well, the overview trailer where you get to see all like the customization options, stuff like that, where you get to travel to different like wave points in the world and do missions with different characters, but there's like an overarching story and like XP that follows you. Very Destiny-ish. And I'm not saying I don't like Destiny, but I don't want Destiny in my Rocksteady game. I truly don't. So if the Suicide Squad game or the Justice League game is like Marvel's Avengers, is like Destiny, I'm going to have some serious problems with it right off the bat. I truly hope they don't do that. But if it is a Suicide Squad game, I feel like actually that would be the better. If it's a Justice League game, it could truly be the same thing as Marvel's Avengers, just with Justice League. At least if it's Suicide Squad, maybe it's different. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe they're just taking I don't even know how I would envision a Suicide Squad game going. I certainly wouldn't see it as like a multiplayer lobby where it's like 4-on-4 and it's like a shooter. Like it's not going to be like that. But like I feel like that would be, if you're like me, if you're worried about the multiplayer aspect of it becoming too like pay to win, or you have to pay to get skins, or you have to pay to get different weapon unlocks or whatever, or you have to pay to get characters. If you're afraid of that, like I am, which I am afraid of that, I think going the Suicide Squad route would actually be safer. I don't think that would be the better. I'm not sold on that would be the better game. I'd rather have a story-driven Justice League game that maybe has co-op. Maybe I could play it with somebody else so we could actually form our own Justice League. But if it's more like Destiny-ish, if it's more like again like what we've seen from Marvel's Avengers, I have so many questions. I'm going to be very, very scared of the game in the first place. However, again, Suicide Squad game, very possible. I'm not doubting it. I have kind of leaned more towards that in the recent weeks. I've been saying in videos, Justice League or Suicide Squad game. But at the same time, I would prefer Justice League. It's open for debate. No matter what, I do think we're getting, like I said, I think we're close. We're very close. I think it'll start to get teased in the springtime, maybe around like March or April, and then by the time we get to E3 in June, I think we'll see it. I think that'll be at E3, whether it's Sony or Microsoft's presentation. I think we probably honestly get a release date, so it's not that far off. I truly do believe that. So we don't have that much longer to drive ourselves insane of what the game could be, and then we can start driving ourselves insane with, are we worried about the game? Like, did they use their 5 or 6 years to make this? And then we can all discuss that. Very interesting discussion for sure, I think, coming. But, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think it's a Suicide Squad game? Do you think it's a Justice League game? And what do you think about everything I said? The multiplayer aspect, the Destiny aspect, those kind of aspects about the game. What do you think? Leave it in the comments below. Make sure you guys are subscribed to our YouTube channel podcast now. Hit that bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And thank you, as always, for watching. Make sure you guys are liking, sharing, doing all that stuff. We cover this Rocksteady game every couple of weeks on the channel, and we will continue to leading into, again, what I think E3 2020 being the time we see it. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you all in the next video.